All right, so just to provide context before I bring in the Commissioner for Environment who joins us now, just before now, a few weeks ago, a media house, an online media house, had brought to the attention of Nigerians about this lead poisoning that was happening in this environment, in Ogijo environment, as a result of the work of some factories there who were recycling battery parts. But as a result of that, many of their staff and even people within the community were getting lead poisoned. The commissioner has since intervened, or the state government has since intervened, shutting down the factory. But what we also heard before that time was that it wasn't the first time the factory was shut down. The factory had been shut down, it was reopened, and then, you know, the practices continued. But this time around, it was seen that there is a more comprehensive intervention to make sure that things are done better. So this morning, we're being joined by Mr. Ola Oresonya, who is the Commissioner for Environment in Ogun State. We saw him in that report at the Palace of the Ologijo of Ogijo. Thank you so much for joining us on Sunrise Daily this morning. It was quite alarming for us to see what it was that we saw in Ogijo, in the Ogijo community. But for a lot of people who are aware and who understand the challenges that come with being, I don't want to use the, let's use the word, a developing country, where we're now beginning to see more and more people delve into recycling, where we know that some of these parts that are found in some of these things, in some of these used parts, electronics, yes, and even battery parts can be reused. They know that there is a danger that comes with it, and it would seem that for the longest of times, we have turned a blind eye to these things. This might come as no surprise. For you, I mean, you have been in waste management as for a significant part of your life. I know that because I know that you also worked in Lagos State. And now you're Commissioner for Environment in Ogun State. What would you say has been the most remarkable discovery? What really sets this aside for you in terms of the pollution that this factory or this particular line of work represents?
Well, thank you, Mope, and thank you, esteemed listeners. Yes, what we saw, or what we are witnessing now, is the unending chain of a problem starting from from a success. At every point of success, you always have imagined new challenge. And I think that is what is happening right now. Ogun State happens to pride itself as a center of recycling and in Nigeria right now, where we've been preaching recycling, just like you mentioned. Yes, I've spent better part of my life in waste management, and recycling is one of the key things we've been promoting here in Nigeria, because most of the materials that are brought into Nigeria, yes, if you look at second-hand vehicle, second-hand TV, second-hand electronics, most of these things have expired, their half-life have expired. Even second-hand batteries and tires, they're all here in Nigeria. And most of these things, by the time they get to Nigeria, maybe after 3-4 years, their life expired. So what happened? Where did we dump them? That was the attraction for many of these recycling industries that are here right now in Nigeria. Why are they in Ogijo? Ogijo is close to Lagos. For most of these materials, yes, you have most of the bulk of the waste is in Lagos. Where they can treat them is here in Ogun State because they can ship them out. They have more land space in Ogun State. And Ogijo happens to be a space where many of these industries established themselves over 30 years ago. They've been there doing their thing quietly. But right now, what they've been doing quietly is having a health impact on our people. And that we're not folding our arms to ensure that we protect the life of our people.
Do you think that government intervention coming in about now, I don't want to say, is it too late? Because some people will say it's better late than never. But how do you see those? Because you say they've been in that business now for decades. How do you see them now conforming with whatever new standards and guidelines and regulations that government is going to come up with to try and keep people safe?
Well, An average industry will tell you it's very difficult for them to comply. But I want to tell you that we started this thing with them in the last 4 years. We've been with these people insisting on doing the right thing, otherwise we fold up. So, and I'm glad to tell you that out of about 8 of them that are here in Ogun State, 9, for example, only 9 industries are here in Nigeria. 8 of them are in Ogun State, 1 in Agbara, 2 around Mowe, and about 5 of them at Ogijo. And this is the headquarters in Africa, let me tell you that. So out of the 8 in Ogun State, at least 1 of them has 100% compliance. What's the compliance we are talking about? We're talking about reducing the human exposure to their process, all right? Getting this process automated because of the hazardous nature of what they're handling. And making sure that their fumes, they capture their fumes. It's just 2 main components. Automate your battery cracking process and the fume collection system, so that they are able to collect the fumes from the breaking of these batteries appropriately to precipitate this lead, so that we don't allow the fume to get out. So one of those companies, 100% compliance. About 1 or 2 others are already in the process of having compliance, while the others are recalcitrant about it all. So all we needed to do then, the ultimatum we gave them expired in the middle part of the year, June, July. We wrote all of them in July, August, that we are coming for final audit report. And the final process audit report was to show that, look, these companies, you cannot operate, we have to give them a final slam. But because we've been carrying out studies and some other NGOs and international agencies, because we've been operating in a very transparent manner in the way we track this lead in soil, water, and air around Ogijo, among other things. So, yes, they went out to do the media hype in this age of social media. Well, no problem. But it is not because of that we are reacting now. We already have a process, a procedure to make sure we slam those who are not in compliance. So for the quick measure right now is to close everybody. And we're already doing our process audit again to be able to distinguish those who have already complied and those who have not complied. Those who have not complied, they are not going to be in business in Ogun State, or not anywhere in Nigeria, I'm sure, because we cannot allow them to continue to produce, to kill, to injure the health of our people.
What has made your intervention different this time around? Because we understand it's not the first time that this was brought to the attention of the Ogun State government. We understand that there was a time when this was brought to the attention of the government. The factories were sealed, but in no time they were reopened, and those people went on business as usual. But this time around, it would seem that you are taking it 1 notch higher. What exactly has led to that?
Well, this time around, we had to drop our own process and try to respond, because the media hype has created a kind of panic. All right, and you can see the way everybody is, like, see, when you go to Ogijo, everybody's falling down dead, or everybody in Ogijo has this pollution. No. So our response this time around, 1, is to establish these facts. 70 people were tested before. This time around, we are enlarging the scope to 500, so that let people know the extent of vulnerability, if there are any, around the place. So we're going to publish it right now. Many of these things have been done, yes, at official level, though we've been carrying out the community leaders. We had several meetings at Ologijo Palace, and many of the community leaders have been running with us on this process at the federal level, and at the community level, we've been relating. But this time around, yes, we have to let the world, it's now a global concern. Because when you talk about such a thing, it was, the news was released outside the country. So it's a global concern. So the entire globe needs to know that something is going on, and going on rightly too. So what we've done differently right now, which we shouldn't ordinarily, we should probably have separated the chaff from the wheat. But this time around, we are taking a sweeping order across all, until when everybody can verify and certify that these ones are in compliance, these ones are not in compliance. We have advised the federal government to stop the exploitation of ingot for now, so that even if, and let me tell you something, apart from these industries that are producing these lead ingot formally, there are a lot of artisanal producers also that are not registered elsewhere, that are doing this thing, are not captured. and most of them have been exported because the appetite for the lead ingot is the dollars, is the value they get for it in the global market. And so we are putting a ban, a temporary ban. We have advised, we cannot ban, but we can advise the federal government to ensure that nobody is allowed to export this product so that this exposure can stop until when we are able to clear the air that is it actually to what we have in the people's blood, is it up to 39 micrograms as stated in the media report? We will publish it. If it's up to that, then what mitigation measure are we going to put in place immediately right now? And if it's not as published, we also let the world know it's not as published, but however, compliance with the pollution abatement levels, pollution abatement process is not negotiable. Not negotiable. Some of the industries may never open again, while those who are in compliance will definitely continue to do their job because we want our people to have work, but operate in a safe manner.
How can people trust whatever the outcomes of your research and your testing will be?
Well, what we're doing right now, yes, because I know the public is always very cynical when it comes to public issues. No doubt about that. And I think they don't owe any apologies for that. But then we should be seen to be above board. And what we've done for process audit, for the air, for the environmental audit, talking about the air, water, and the soil test, we have the academia, they're involved. University of Lagos is involved. The Federal University of Agric Abeokuta is involved. And we have the Obafemi Awolowo University. The Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agowoye. The professors there, they're all involved in this. So, and then we have a professor of toxicology, a global world-renowned professor of toxicology, who is leading the team and to make sure that this process is transparent and published worldwide. Then we have the Ministry of Health in Ogun State leading the team from the national body, NDCC, or the National Disease Control, and also the World Health Organization is involved in the health audit for this. And for the process audit, yes, we have international organizations who are with this. And we have the media working with us on the field. We've started on Tuesday, and the media is working with us. They're all there on the field with us. So everybody's seeing what is going on, almost in a very transparent way. So that the world, I'm sure the global community is waiting for our result, and we'll not disappoint them. We're telling them the true position of things.
All right, I know Ayo has questions for you. Ayo, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. Honorable Commissioner, just let me begin by asking this one. Was this preventable? Could it have been prevented?
Well, yes, if there was a knowledge about the regulatory control early enough. Don't forget I tell you that most of these industries are over 30 years they've been operating in that community, which was not originally designated as an industrial community. No, it was not an industrial community. It's people encroached. The industry got there, and people, most of their workers built houses around them. So with proper regulatory control of past years, probably it will have been prevented. But we don't have excuse now that we have proper regulatory control. We have the knowledge about it. That's why we are not leaving them. We've been on their case in the last few years.
Well, the reason I asked that question, Honorable Commissioner, is because, I know your work as an individual, particularly in the environment space and all of that. I'm asking that against the backdrop of the fact that first, it seems, just as you said, maybe no excuses. There have been some lapses maybe in the area of supervision and all. I'm just asking that question in case there are any such risks in any other communities around. Secondly, whether or not what happened in Ogijo could spread elsewhere.
Yeah. You're quite right. When we started, when this administration came in about 6-7 years ago, and we know our peculiarity in Ogun State as the industrial capital of Nigeria. industrial capital of Nigeria. You have all the industry, most of the industries are here in Ogun State. One thing is that the vulnerability. Every industry comes with its own risk. Anywhere in the world, industrial cities come with their risk of pollution from the process. So what we did first in Ogun State was to do the vulnerability mapping for air, soil, and water pollution. And we have areas, cities of concern, centers of concern in Ogun State. Ogun happen to be #1 in our city of concern in Ogun State. And what we do in those areas is to interrogate the extent of vulnerability. And in Ogijo, I will tell you, for example, lead, fumes from metal recycling and from tire recycling, where you have many of these people using decompositions material, thermal decomposition materials. You have various levels of risk associated, and we've done the mapping across Ogun State. Agbara is there, the flower gate is there, and many of our cities, we are on top of it in Ogun State. And if you're interested, we'll be able to show you details of what we are doing to prevent all these pollutions, and we'll train our people to be above board in this area.
Well, it's an environmental issue, and one would wonder whether or not there's been significant interface and engagement with the people to ensure that they also get carried along. I mean, what we should recognize, Malakwa and I were talking about us taking mutual responsibility together earlier. We should recognize that the government officials are just human beings as well. Some of the government officials may not be living in the environment. So are there plans or activities, and not just in Ogijo, but in various other communities, starting with this example that we're having on our hands, are there plans or strategies to give the communities a carry along so that they can see something, say something, as we say, and we are able to prevent such occurrences and save lives?
Well, the first level of prevention that we did when we did the mapping, the vulnerability mapping, was to discuss this with the governor. And we now have to do the urban renewal. Urban renewal areas are now redesignated in Ogun State. That is why when we came in, I think we met about 4 or 5 industrial layouts in Ogun State. Right now, we've expanded industrial locations, industrial parks in Ogun State to, I'm sure we have more than 10 major industrial parks, apart from the EPZ, the export processing zones. Export processing zone 2 are areas where you have industry clusters, so that we will relocate most of these industries away from the mixed settlement to new locations where they need to move to. All right. For example, Ogijo is already on the table, on the discussion. Okay, and we're pushing this across to the governor also. Some of these industries in Ogijo must leave that place, I mean, undoubtedly, to the new location. Many of the recycling industries there, these have been discussed with them. I'm sure many of them are listening to me now. The metal recycling industries, for example, they're already on that discussion table. Many of them may have to relocate to the new cluster, the industrial clusters, so that they can operate safely. So that's the first thing we are doing, to redesignate areas where you must have industrial clusters, so that pollution abatement devices can be better utilized in those areas. There are some abatement devices can be shared facilities. Talking about effluent treatment, rather than having individual effluent treatment plant, you can have a joint treatment plant where effluent can be treated centrally for all this, like we have in Agbara right now. So this is on the table to redesignate. Second, we are working seriously, like you heard from the clips that you showed earlier. We are working seriously with the CDA, the Community Development Associations. They are the first responders. They have telephone number where they can call 24/7. If they see any pollution in their neighborhood, they call us. We have the helpline that are available. And we have a task force that will go to wherever there's pollution. I mean, overnight today, I see how somebody calling me about industries making noise overnight. Some of these industries, we have to ban them not to operate in the night because of the area, because of the noise level. So we are working closely with the CDAs who are getting across to us, giving us information, and I'm sure many of them are hearing me. They can tell you that we respond almost swiftly to most of their complaints. So these are the various levels that we operate. And if you go to our social media area also, on our X handle, I still was responding to some important complaint from OTA. somebody was sending messages. So we operate at various levels of information, interaction, gathering, and we respond swiftly also.
Do you think that this campaign can be extended to other states? Because it has happened in Ogun State, but we know that this is a problem that the country faces as a whole. This issue of recycling in a way that is safe, in a way that is healthy, in a way that protects the health of Nigerian citizens. Is it a campaign you intend to extend to other commissioners of environment, or perhaps to the federal level, who can in turn cascade it down?
Yes, thank you. Yes, we know that this is not just a subnational problem. It's a national thing. The aggregate of this is a national equation. So we're doing this with NESRA, who is a national regulatory agency. They are following us through on this. I'm almost with the DG NESRA on daily basis. They are looking at our protocol, the way we are doing it, and we are developing our templates. And we have a platform, all the commissioners in Nigeria. I'm on that platform. I'm also sharing this information with them so that the response and the kind of strategy, the institutional arrangement they need to put in place to checkmate all this kind of pollution, especially in the mining area and the rest of it, so that they can know this team, track this pollution, and address it before it happens. And I'm working closely with my counterpart in Lagos, the Commissioner of Environment and Water Resources in Lagos. And we are establishing a joint action, because most of these industries in Ogun State are located just at the borderline, the border towns between Lagos and Ogun. Whatever, if you are releasing fumes in Ogun, Lagos can be perceiving it, and everything can go to Lagos. We need to establish wind directions and how we both respond. So for Ogun State, it's all about Ogun and Lagos that are operating jointly. The meeting we'll be having, we have a LASEPA, that's the Lagos Environmental Protection Agency team. They've been working with us on daily basis on these lead pollution allegations. So we are all using the lab, share information, and we're working together. So it's a national issue, not just Ogun State issue alone.
Oh, well, we certainly wish you all the best as you continue to work to keep not just Ogun and Lagos safe, but the entire country as well. We have to thank you for coming on Sunrise Early this morning. Mr. Ola Oresonya is the Commissioner for Environment in Ogun State.